Well, guys, I hate to be one of those content creators that does this, but I have to do it. Normally, I always wait till the end of our videos before I have the ask, but in this case, due to trends in what YouTube has been doing, unsubscribes and shadow comments, people not getting notifications, I'm going to go ahead and ask if you guys would just feel free to like this video here at the beginning rather than at the end. That way the algorithm has some kind of positive feedback as we get going. That really helps me out. And so if you don't mind, please engage that like button right here from the get-go. And if you're a long-term viewer and would like or have had issues with your notifications, click the little bell by the subscribe button and turn on the notifications. If they're normally on and you go in there, turn them off and then turn them back on and see if that has any effect on when the notifications pop up. Because I've been getting comments left and right that, hey, there's a video, but people had to go to my page and search the page and then find the newest video because the notifications are not showing up in their feed. So if you guys wouldn't mind investigating that on your end, if you're so inclined, I would really appreciate it. Thank you very much. Now let's go ahead and get to the diag work on this destroyed Ford Ranger right here. Check out this one owner Ford Ranger. I think this is a Splash. Looks like it's the XLT. She's got the 4-liter V6 under the hood here. This is a kind of a sentimental vehicle. It's a one-owner truck. The guy has owned it for, get this, it's got some time on the clock. Looks like 317,394.6 miles on the odometer. The customer brought this thing over to us from another shop. It was towed in. It's got a stone cold dead battery. This is the first time we've probed at this little truck right here. Stone cold dead battery, doesn't turn over, and the other shop told them they need an engine in this 4-liter Ford Ranger. So let's recheck their diag and see what we need to do with this thing. Okay, so step one of every diagnostic process is to make sure that your battery is fully charged, in good condition, and that the terminals are clean and tight. And we can see from the lack of electrons inside of this thing, there is no electrons for us to play with. So we're gonna bust out the charger real quick. This is the old school charger, not the digital sensing chargers. There's these new ones that if it detects that the battery is super dead and there's no voltage in it, it won't even attempt a charge, which is very frustrating. You almost have to like add another battery to it just to connect a charger because the chargers don't turn on. But this, that's an old school charger. It just pumps the power right in. Yeah, there's some amps going in there. Look at that. Let's see what we have going on next. We'll do 50 amps. It's not a gentle unit. Yeah, there's some electrons. Look, we got power now. Key it off. Cool, I heard a fuel pump come on. No chimes. Let's see what happens when we hit the key. Click. Nothing. Okay. All right, does not want to turn over. All right, let's see what's going on with that. Maybe it's just a starter problem, but like I said, they were told they needed an engine. It's got a couple signs of some activity in here. Look, it's got a new water pump. Might be a newish radiator. We have, looks like no coolant. Look at that. All right, so where's the engine coolant going? It's not in the oil, is it? Yeah, I don't know about that. Let's check the dip of the stick. That looks overfilled. Here, we'll give our stick a bit of a wipe down right here. There we go. Dipping it in. And it looks like our engine oil level is excessive. Yeah, right down, right here. Sorry guys. This is way overfilled. See the dots right there? Well, our line is way up here. That's not the greatest. Tell me that the other shop noticed that, please. in there. So to me, that sounded like this thing was just locked up, dead locked up. Now, the evidence that I've seen so far, we have no coolant, we have a new water pump, which tells me that when this engine is in running condition, it was overheating or running out of coolant or something along those lines. So somebody put a water pump in there. I mean, I could be wrong and they just put a pump in it because it was leaking, but holistically, I'm starting to see some things adding up here that suggest that coolant is going places where it shouldn't be going, and we really can't be having that. So let's determine a couple of things here. What I'm going to do is get a ratchet down there on the crankshaft, and we're going to try to bar this thing over by hand and see if this motor is going to turn over. Maybe the starter's junk, maybe it's hydrolocked. Let's see what we need in there. What size is that? Let me stick you guys up there. Tell me what size that is. You help me out? Looks like a 16 millimeters. Sure. Let's go grab a socket. Okie dokes. We've got the big old long handle ratchet right here. That's gonna give me plenty of leverages. I'm gonna go down in and try to get this thing on the crank from up here. It's hot and sweaty today, and I don't really feel like rolling around on the floor because all the dirt is sticking to all of the sweat. It's over 6 digits here in sunny Florida today. Anyway, I'm on the crank, and well, it moved, it turned. Starter didn't do it, but it did turn over. It's odd. Maybe we have multiple problems. Try it again. Yeah, she bars over. Crank is turning. You see it down there. Zoom. Yep, there's our crank pulley, and it is definitely turning. See that? Okay, so what's his problem? Let's hit the key again and see what happens. Oh, I zoomed out the wrong way. Bad ray. Huh. All right, well, it kind of turned over. Let's give it some more electrons. See what happens. Start. Or not. Okay. So it has stopped starting. Let's see if it bars one more time. Get in there. Uh-oh, yep. That was real tough to turn right there. Went past whatever that was. Yeah, something's going on here. That was kind of tough to bar that on that last one. Drop that ratchet again too. It's too heavy and my hands are too lubricated with sweat. Woo! Let's hit the key again. I want to hear it like no. I want to get it really going. Yeah, like that. That's not the greatest. She's not sounding good, guys. That's not sounding good at all. All right, so here's the plan here. We're gonna take some curvy, angular needle nose pliers. We're gonna dig out all these spark plugs and spark plug wires. I went in there by hand and tried to get these out, and they are very stubborn and do not want to come out. So I'm getting a hold of them with these pokey pliers. If I break wires, I'm not horribly concerned about it because this thing sounds pretty dead as it is. But I'd like some confirmation before I tell this fella he needs a motor / engine. What do you guys think, engine or motor? I know those terms are somewhat synonymous. Let's see if I can't get this one off. That one's buried behind this EGR tube. Yeah, there's differential pressure feedback lines. These guys here and here. Those run up to this DPFE. and it's supposed to tell the ECM what the pressure is before and after the EGR or something like that. Oh man, see, I can't even get needle noses in there. It's not fun. There, popped it loose. That's out of the way. Yeah, we're gonna pull these plugs out here and see if they've got coolant on them or not. They go down there. Yeah, the thing wouldn't even fire over. So whatever happened, it happened probably catastrophically. Come out, there you. And that one up in the front. We're gonna go around the alternator, give this thing a little bit of a bear hug here. There it is. It won't come off. Come on, you. I'm pulling left here. It turns, but it won't pop off the end of the plug. And my hand's slipping. There we go. Got it. There it is. Right there. Didn't damage it. Cool beans. Whew. Okay, we got a spark plug socket on that rearmost plug back there. Let's get her broken loose and spun out. We're gonna pull all these spark plugs out and inspect their, whoa! Inspect them. I just moved through the matrix to catch you guys. Look at that. That is covered in coolant or oil and coolant. That's just the first one we found. Wow. I'm pretty sure that's not going to carry a spark through there. That's bad. Can't wait to do a teardown on this engine. Okay, getting that next one in there. That was loose. Has somebody had this out before? That one's gone. It's not wet. There's nothing there on that plug, okay. I think these are 300,000 mile spark plugs. Let's get the front one out. I don't know which cylinder that is. It's either 1 or 2. I didn't check the firing order. It's not really relevant at this time. Soaking wet. Look at that. That one's wet. Okay. This ain't looking good there, boys. This is not looking good at all. Let's check the passenger side next. What I'm thinking is we'll get all these plugs out of this thing and then we'll try to turn this thing over again and see how it turns over with no plugs in it. So this wobble bit's a little too long. Let's try to stick the stubby in there. Maybe that'll be a little easier. Yeah, this side's a little more crowded than that other side over yonder. If I get 4 out of 6 out, I'll be probably happy. I think we've seen enough here, to say the truth. Like enough, well, enough to like condemn this is not going to be an easy fix. Oh wow, look at that one. Soaking wet with junk all over it. All right. I mean, it might just need a set of spark plugs, but I doubt it. The oil being overfilled, the sounds that it was making, combined with the zero inclination to start, I think it might be dead. Like I said, I want to turn it over. There's an oil cap. I want to turn the thing over with no plugs in it. Come here, oil cap. it fell into the exhaust manifold. This one's just as horrendous as the others. It's covered in grime and some kind of a liquid. Okay, last one. Probably gonna use the long one again and then bear hug the nadir. Let's see if I can't find it. Bear with me, folks. There's a lot of us in a small space here and that makes things difficult. All right, I've got the thing on the thing there. You may not be able to see, but I can see that extension like right here. It's super close. Also a loose plug. There she is. Yeah, maybe the other shop had these plugs out and this is what they found and said, no, not looking great. Yeah, look at that business. That's horrible. All right, I'm going to go grab the key. We're gonna hit the key, turn this thing over, and see what it sounds like. You guys wait right here.
Beginning engine cranking sequence now. Sounds okay-ish, kinda.
So I've ordered some spark plugs for this. I got the cheapest of the cheapest ones because this might be a blowed up engine. In the meantime, I'm gonna spill water everywhere. I want to refill this this radiator here just with some aqua because I'd like to determine where the coolant has gone, and I'd also like to see if it's ending up in the combustion chamber. So what we're gonna do is throw some plugs in it, and I'm gonna try to turn it over again. I think what I'll do is spin it over a lot, just like right now. That way any of that nonsense that's inside the chambers, all that sludgy oil stuff, probably a bunch of fuel too, we can expel all that nonsense. And if it's got like a catastrophic failure, like a broken cylinder head or a cracked block or something, it should start shooting the water out, maybe. Maybe. It depends on how severe it is. It might only leak when it's up at temperature and all the metal expands. Yeah, this thing's got no coolant in there. It's not draining out either. A little bit right there. That might be from me spilling though. Yeah, I wouldn't think that's the new water pump leaking. Okay. Yeah, let's crank it again, see what it does. I'll keep filling that. We'll let the bubbles settle out. Try that again. That's bad if it's pushing combustion chamber gases into the cooling system with the spark plugs out of it. That's horrible. We'll see. Squeeze the hose. Got the upper hose here. Start moving air through the system. As it flows through the top of the radiator here, it's making its way out. All right, let me crank it, see what it does. All right, well, no giant stream of bubbles coming out. I guess that's a good sign. And my fear is that if I run the one new wire, I don't know if we found where the problem occurred. That wire may have been pinched somewhere in the harness. It could have rubbed through and shorted to like the chassis or something like that. But the issue is if it's somewhere else in the harness that has not been exposed, like under the car or through that little hole right there in the floor, then I would spend a lot of time and effort running a new wire and splicing it in, and then you key the thing on. and the resistance value is still there, and it starts to just cook the new wire out of it, and then it does it again. So I am in agreement with the Nissan dealership on harness replacement, because it's a very long harness and I know there's more damage to it. So it looks like in this particular truck we're gonna have to dig this harness out after we find another one. Dig this harness out, probably have to pull the seats out of it, both sides, whatever modules are in there has to come out. This vinyl floor business probably has to come out of it. And then once all that stuff is done, we can install the new replacement harness. Trouble is gonna be finding one. We're gonna try to source one out of the salvage yard and see if we can get away with not spending $7,000 on parts and labor and whatnot. I think most of it's probably labor, because we've got to strip the interior out of this unit. I can't imagine that harness being more than, I don't know, like $800, something like that. But we'll see. Right now we're in the process of looking for the parts and see if we can't source them, and then we'll have a chat with the customer and see what they want to do about getting this thing right here fixed. But as for that multiple zeros on the price tag, that's probably legit for something like this. Alrighty, so what I decided to do here was to install a set of diagnostic spark plugs. Got the cheapest ones possibly available. They're just a copper cord plug. There's no platinums or iridiums or rhodiums or unobtainiums, any of those kinds of metals on the tips there. So they're not really going to be like a performance oriented type of plug, but they should be clean enough to at least let this thing try to fire up. So in the interest of saving time, I already chucked them in there. Both sides, we've got 2 sets. So let's go back around, hit the key again, and see if this thing's going to light off or not. Beginning engine cranking starting sequence now. All right, it's alive. So how'd all that coolant, or whatever that stuff was, end up in there? I wonder. We saved it, it's running. Kind of ticking. Let's see. We've got oil pressure. So what's the deal? Interesting. Oh, that's the deal. Figured it out. Yeah, that's not great. That's where all my water's going. Yeah, we've got a major problem here with this engine. Not great. Here, let's give it some throttle, see what it does. Yeah, there's that water. Wow. Found the problem. All right, let's shut her down. The mosquitoes are dead now. We have a major issue here. That is consuming water and pumping it out through the exhaust. That's not good whatsoever. So it stands to reason, if there's coolant getting into the exhaust, there should also be exhaust gases getting into the coolant. And a lot more bubbles in there now. Interesting. You know what, whatever, let's fire it back up. I want to see combustion gases starting to bubble up through here. That's what I want. Just give it a minute, let it warm up some. Maybe get a fan. Yeah. Oh, and that smells like cylinder head gasket. You can smell it. Dave, you smell it? It smells like cracking a head gasket off of anything really. You smell it? Yep. Here we go. That's not great. Tell you what, since you got this Jeep running again, let's switch these out I want to put this up in the air and we'll take a look down below and see if there's anything leaking out of it as well. Yep. All right, let's shut down our electron source here. So wouldn't you know it, diagnostic spark plugs. Here, let's see how this thing feels like it runs when it's in gear. Right now it's no load. Feels a little stumbly when you give it throttle. That's probably the cylinder that's eating the coolant. Uh-oh. 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 We're spilling. Yeah, that's definitely combustion gases. So, before I move this, I'm gonna take this off and swap it out with a pressure gauge. Alrighty then. So check this out. Put the plug in it, right? Put that in there. Pull this out without too much spillage. Good thing it's just water and not really coolant. Come over here to the surge tank. Pull the drain. That can go back into the tank. Or it can dump all over the floor. Yeah, that works too. Okay. Good thing it's just water. Get this adapter off. All right, we'll put this adapter on there. If I can compress that spring. This is the adapter for the pump and the gauge on the pressure tester. There you go. Okay, so with this pressure device attached, now the system's sealed again. Let's fire back up. I want to keep it running because I'm concerned that if there is a leak, that coolant's going to leak its way into the cylinders. Oh yeah, look at that. We are rising pressure. Yeah, I don't want the coolant to leak down into the cylinders and then hydrolock the thing, which may have already occurred. Yeah, it's building pressure. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and move this out of the way so we can get our Jeep out of here. Oh yeah, that exhaust stinks. Definitely smells like combustion chamber. And there's the misfire. It's in gear. Feels pretty good. Out of gear. In drive, yeah, there's a dead hole misfire in here. So it's either got a broken cylinder head, cracked block. This is a nasty one. Yeah, I think we need a motor on this bad unit. What do you guys think? Is it motor time? I think it is. All right, Jeep's out of the way. Dave pulled her out. Let's get this thing back inside. I want to rack it up and take a gander. Tight squeeze. It's Ace Ventura time. Automotive detective. Hey, look at this right here. That pressure went through the moon. Oh, now look. Now we're dropping. I bet you there's coolant going into the chamber. Man. See how it sounds. Okay. I don't want coolant going into the chamber, so let's dump the pressure out. Oh, can I get it in the bucket? Get most of it in there. Oh, yeah, still 6 years old. Hey Troy, look at this, dude. Troy, quick, you gotta see this. Hurry, you're running out. This is the stuff I was telling you gotta get fixed when you get older. Yeah, you gotta watch out for those gas station pills. That's what happens to you.
His pee-pee works.
I think that's just a hair trap in this stream.
Okie dokes, rack's all set up. Let's get this unit up in the air and take a look at the underneath carriage and see if we see anything staring at us in the face. Maybe a leaking engine block, maybe a huge crack in a cylinder head. probably won't see much, but it's worth at least taking a look to be thorough. It's gotta be thorough, right, Troy?
Right.
It's gotta be thorough, 100%.
120%.
I mean, we know it's junk, but I want to find out how junk it is. Now, these Ford Rangers were notorious bears to set up on the lift, in part because they came with these running boards, which always contact on the lift arm. That's probably why that one's all broken. And they had a front lifting point built into the frame that was hard to reach for most racks. So these things are super sketch-o-matic when you want to lift them up. So I'm just gonna give it a peek, make sure we're safe. Looks good. I feel safe. Taking a look down below. Yeah, I don't see any external leaks. Yeah, so we've got some kind of internal failure, something let go. Maybe the cylinder head cracked from overheating. That looks good in there too. Maybe the block cracked. The only way really to know is to pull the heads off of it. But the reality is, on this 300,000 mile vehicle, it might be better and more cost effective to find a used engine if they still exist, chuck a used motor in it and call it a day. What do you guys think? Used engine or repair if possible? It's kind of a tough call. This one's gonna have to have a lot of parts. I'd probably want to go ahead and do an engine out, halfway rebuild on it, put timing chains in it, do an oil pump, check the sump, need to inspect everything. Yeah, it's kind of a tough call. I'd hate to just slap a motor in it, but at the same time, that was pretty severe. I fear that there's more damage than we're aware of. I bet you this thing has been having coolant get into the combustion chamber. What happens is if you're driving it and you've got pressure in the cooling system, like let's say there's a crack in the cylinder head or even blown head gasket, which this might just be blown up head gasket. But what can happen is if coolant is able to communicate between combustion chamber and cooling system, then the combustion chamber will overpressure the cooling system while it's running. And then that pressure in the cooling system will be retained when you shut it down, and it'll push all that coolant back into the chamber and then fill that cylinder up with some liquid. Then you go to start it again, piston comes up, it tries to compress that liquid, and we know liquid cannot be compressed in most situations. I think all situations. There might be one liquid in the world that is compressible. Anyway, I digress. What'll happen is when it tries to compress that coolant or water in this case, it cannot, and then the piston can't go anywhere. So the crank will come around, try to shove that piston up, and it'll bend the connecting rod. That's also a huge possibility. So I think that more teardown is required on this. It's not an easy fix, and chances are the repair on this is going to exceed the value of the vehicle, I think, in my estimation. But that's not my call. I can just simply say what I see and what I don't see and offer options to gather more information or abandon the project entirely. So I've got to let my customer know that we've got a condemned motor on this thing somehow, some way. I'd like to pull the heads off at the very minimum to do some inspecting on it. But as far as this goes, I can't do much more at this current point in time. So that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and close this video out. As always, please feel free to let me know what you think about this pretty clean truck, actually, in the comment section down below. Do not forget to engage that like and subscribe button while you're down there. And most importantly, have yourselves a fantastic day. See you guys later in a video, in a day, in a Ford Ranger, in a transmission.